A chilly wind swept through the streets of downtown Nashville, Tennessee, as pedestrians bustled to and fro, eager to escape the cold. Among them was Taylor Swift, the global pop sensation who rarely had the chance to enjoy a moment of anonymity. Wrapped in a stylish camel-colored coat and oversized sunglasses, she attempted to blend in with the crowd. It was one of those rare days where she could walk the city streets without the flashing of cameras or the screams of adoring fans. She loved Nashville for this reason. It gave her a semblance of normalcy amidst her otherwise chaotic life. Before we start, smash the like and subscribe buttons for more updates. As she strolled past a coffee shop, her attention was caught by a figure sitting against the brick wall, hunched over and shivering. A homeless man with a scraggly beard and layers of mismatched clothing sat with a cardboard sign that read, "Down on my luck. Anything helps. God bless." His eyes, though tired, held a quiet dignity that resonated with Taylor. She stopped, an internal debate playing out in her mind. She'd donated to countless charities, established foundations, and supported causes for the homeless in the past. But there was something different about this moment. Perhaps it was the man's vulnerability juxtaposed against her own immense privilege. Or maybe it was the way he looked up at her, not with expectation, but with an almost apologetic smile as if he were sorry for needing to ask. "Excuse me," the man said hesitantly, his voice raspy from the cold. "Could you spare $1?" "$1?" Taylor paused, slightly taken aback by the simplicity of the request. It wasn't often that someone asked her for something so small, so tangible. People usually wanted autographs, selfies, or business deals. But here was this man, asking for just a single dollar, not even realizing who he was asking. "What's your name?" Taylor asked, crouching down to meet him at eye level. She wanted to make this interaction personal, not transactional. "Sam," he replied, his voice soft. "Samuel Carter, but most folks just call me Sam." "Well, Sam," Taylor said, reaching into her coat pocket. She pulled out her wallet and thumbed through the bills. "Why $1? Why not 5 or 10?" Sam chuckled lightly, the sound barely audible. "$1 gets me a cup of coffee at the diner down the block. It's warm, and they let me sit for a while if I order something. I don't like asking for much, just enough to get through the day." Taylor felt a pang in her chest. She handed him a $20 bill instead. "This should cover more than a coffee," she said with a warm smile. Sam's eyes widened, and he hesitated before taking the bill, as though afraid it might disappear if he moved too quickly. "Thank you," he said, his voice breaking slightly. "You didn't have to do that." Taylor shrugged. "Sometimes a little kindness can go a long way." She started to rise, but Sam stopped her with a question. "Why? Why would someone like you stop for someone like me?" The question lingered in the cold air, and Taylor found herself sitting down on the ground next to him. "Because I know what it's like to feel small," she admitted. "Not like you, maybe. I've never been homeless, but I felt invisible. I felt like my voice didn't matter, especially in the beginning." Sam tilted his head, clearly intrigued. "You're someone important, aren't you? You look familiar." Taylor laughed. "I guess you could say that. My name's Taylor." Recognition flickered across Sam's face, and his eyes widened again, this time in disbelief. "Wait, Taylor Swift? The Taylor Swift?" "That's me," she confirmed, her tone lighthearted. Sam stared at her for a moment, then shook his head in disbelief. "And here I am, asking you for $1. Life's funny, huh?" Taylor chuckled. "Life is funny," she agreed. Then her expression turned serious. "But it's also unfair. You shouldn't have to sit here, Sam. No one should." Sam sighed deeply, his breath visible in the frigid air. "Yeah, well, life's dealt me some tough cards. Lost my job a few years back. My wife passed away not long after. The bills piled up, and before I knew it, I was out here. I've been trying to get back on my feet, but it's hard, you know." Taylor nodded, listening intently. She didn't interrupt or offer platitudes. Instead, she let Sam share his story, giving him something he hadn't had in a long time. Someone who truly listened. As he finished, Taylor reached into her bag and pulled out her phone. "Sam, do you trust me?" He looked at her warily. "I guess so. Why?" "I want to help you," she said. "Not just with $1 or a 20. I mean really help you. Can I?" Sam hesitated, his pride warring with his desperation. Finally, he nodded. "I don't know what you can do, but I'll take any help I can get." Taylor smiled. "All right. First things first, let's get you someplace warm and a hot meal. Then we'll figure out the rest. She stood up and offered him her hand. For a moment, Sam hesitated, then took it. Together, they walked to a nearby diner. The staff recognized Taylor immediately, but she waved off their excitement, focusing instead on Sam. Over steaming bowls of soup and mugs of coffee, Taylor outlined her plan. I know a few people who can help you find temporary housing and maybe even a job, she said. But it's going to take some work on your part, too. Sam nodded, his expression a mix of hope and apprehension. I'm willing to try, he said. Over the next few days, Taylor made good on her promise. She connected Sam with a local shelter that provided him with a safe place to stay and introduced him to a job training program. She even covered the costs of new clothes and a haircut, helping him regain a sense of dignity. But Taylor didn't stop there. She used her platform to shine a light on the broader issue of homelessness. In a heartfelt Instagram post, she shared Sam's story, not to garner praise, but to raise awareness and encourage others to take action. The response was overwhelming. Donations poured in for local shelters, and thousands of fans shared stories of their own efforts to help those in need. Sam, meanwhile, began to rebuild his life, buoyed by the kindness of a stranger who turned out to be so much more. Months later, as Taylor prepared for a sold-out concert in Nashville, she received a visitor backstage. It was Sam, looking healthier and happier than she'd ever seen him. He held a small envelope in his hand. What's this? Taylor asked, taking it from him. It's the 20 you gave me, Sam said with a smile. I don't need it anymore. I've got a job now and a place to stay. But I'll never forget what you did for me. Taylor's eyes filled with tears as she hugged him. Keep it, she said. And when you see someone else in need, pass it on. That night, as Taylor performed in front of thousands, she thought about Sam and the ripple effect of one small act of kindness. In the grand scheme of things, it might have been just $1 or 20, but to Sam, it had meant the world. And that, Taylor realized, was the true power of human connection. As Taylor stepped out onto the brightly lit stage that evening, the roar of the crowd greeted her like a tidal wave. Thousands of fans had gathered to see her, their faces illuminated by the glow of smartphones capturing every moment. Yet, amidst the dazzling lights and deafening cheers, Taylor's thoughts kept drifting back to Sam. She couldn't help but marvel at how a single interaction on the streets of Nashville had transformed not only his life, but also her perspective on the world. The concert was a triumph, with Taylor delivering hit after hit, her voice ringing out like an anthem of hope and resilience. But when she reached the middle of her set, she paused, taking a moment to speak to the audience. I want to share something with you all, she began, her voice soft but steady. The crowd quieted, sensing the importance of her words. A few months ago, I met someone who reminded me of the power of kindness, of listening, and of believing in the potential for change. She told the story of her encounter with Sam, not in a way that sought applause or admiration, but as a call to action. It's easy to look past people who are struggling, she said, her voice breaking slightly. But sometimes all it takes is one moment of compassion to make a difference. So tonight, I want to dedicate this next song to Sam and to anyone out there who feels invisible. You matter. We see you. The audience erupted into cheers as Taylor launched into a heartfelt rendition of The Archer, her voice imbued with a depth of emotion that resonated with everyone in the arena. As she sang, the words seemed to carry an unspoken message that no one should ever feel forgotten or alone. After the concert, Taylor found herself sitting in her dressing room replaying the events of the past months in her mind. She knew that helping Sam was just the beginning. There were countless others like him. People who had fallen through the cracks, each with their own stories of hardship and resilience. The idea of starting a larger initiative began to take root in her mind, one that could provide resources and support to those in need. The next morning, Taylor called her team together for an impromptu meeting. I want to do more, she told them, her voice filled with determination. I want to create something lasting, something that can help people like Sam get back on their feet. Her team listened attentively as she outlined her vision, a foundation dedicated to addressing homelessness and poverty. It wouldn't just provide temporary aid, but would focus on long-term solutions, such as job training, mental health support, and affordable housing. The foundation would also work to combat the stigma surrounding homelessness, encouraging empathy and understanding, Within weeks, the project was underway. Taylor personally invested millions into the initiative, which she named the Swift Start Foundation. She enlisted experts, social workers, and community leaders to ensure that the programs were effective and sustainable. And true to her word, she used her platform to rally support, urging her fans and followers to get involved. Meanwhile, Sam's life continued to change in extraordinary ways. With Taylor's encouragement and the resources she'd provided, he began to thrive. The job training program led to a position at a local community center, where he worked as a counselor, helping others who were struggling to rebuild their lives. His natural empathy and resilience made him a beacon of hope for those who walked through the center's doors. One day, Sam received an unexpected phone call from Taylor. "Hey, Sam," she said cheerfully. "How would you feel about sharing your story at one of our events? I think people would really benefit from hearing it." Sam hesitated. "I don't know, Taylor. I'm not used to speaking in front of crowds." "You don't have to be perfect," she assured him. "Just be yourself. Your story is powerful, and it could inspire so many people." After some consideration, Sam agreed. A few weeks later, he found himself standing on a stage at the inaugural Swift Start Foundation Gala. The room was filled with donors, advocates, and people who had been impacted by the foundation's work. Nervously, Sam approached the microphone, his hands trembling slightly. "I used to think my story didn't matter," he began, his voice shaky but earnest. "I thought I was just another statistic, another face on the street that people walk past without a second thought. But then I met someone who reminded me that I'm more than that. She believed in me when I couldn't believe in myself." As he spoke, the audience listened intently, many wiping away tears. He talked about his journey from despair to hope, about the kindness of a stranger who had become a friend, and about the importance of never giving up. By the time he finished, the room erupted in applause, and Taylor, sitting in the front row, gave him a standing ovation. The gala was a resounding success, raising millions of dollars for the foundation's programs. But more importantly, it sparked a wave of awareness and compassion. Inspired by Sam's story, attendees pledged to get involved, whether by volunteering, donating, or simply treating those in need with dignity and respect. As the foundation grew, so did its impact. Taylor made it a point to stay personally involved, visiting shelters, meeting with program participants, and even collaborating with local governments to advocate for policy changes. She also worked to incorporate messages of social responsibility into her music, using her songs and performances to inspire action. One particularly memorable moment came during a concert in New York City. In the middle of her set, Taylor brought out a surprise guest, Sam. The crowd erupted in cheers as he joined her on stage, looking both nervous and exhilarated. "Everyone," Taylor said, beaming, "this is Sam. He's living proof that with a little help and a lot of determination, anything is possible." Sam waved shyly at the crowd, who responded with thunderous applause. Then, to his astonishment, Taylor handed him a microphone. "Want to say a few words?" she asked with a grin. Sam hesitated, then took a deep breath. "I just want to say thank you," he said, his voice steady despite the enormity of the moment. "Not just to Taylor, but to everyone out there who's ever taken the time to help someone in need. You might not think it's a big deal, but trust me, it can change a life." The audience erupted once more, their cheers echoing through the arena. For Sam, it was a surreal moment. A far cry from the days he'd spent sitting on a cold sidewalk, wondering if anyone cared. As the years went by, Taylor's foundation continued to make a profound difference, helping thousands of people like Sam find stability and hope. But for Taylor, the greatest reward wasn't the accolades or the recognition. It was the knowledge that she had used her platform to make the world a little brighter, one person at a time. And for Sam, the experience transformed him in ways he never could have imagined. He went on to become a vocal advocate for homelessness awareness, speaking at schools, conferences, and community events. His journey from the streets to the stage served as a powerful reminder of the resilience of the human spirit and the impact of compassion. And as Taylor stood on yet another stage, performing for a crowd of thousands, she glanced at the spotlights and thought of the millions of lives still waiting for their moment of hope. She sang with all her heart, knowing that the story was far from over. It had only just begun. As Taylor Swift's Swift Start Foundation gained traction, its work began to ripple beyond Nashville, extending to communities across the United States and eventually reaching international shores. The movement Taylor had envisioned was evolving into something much larger than she ever anticipated. Fueled by her passion for making a difference and the growing momentum of grassroots efforts, the foundation became a beacon of hope for people struggling with homelessness worldwide. One of the cornerstones of the foundation's success was its innovative approach to tackling homelessness. Taylor and her team worked tirelessly to develop programs that addressed not just the immediate needs of shelter and food, but also the root causes of homelessness. They partnered with mental health professionals to provide counseling and therapy, recognizing that many individuals living on the streets struggled with untreated mental health issues. The foundation also teamed up with local businesses to create job opportunities and on-the-job training, helping participants regain their financial independence. In one notable initiative, the foundation piloted a program called Homeward Bound, which provided modular housing units in urban areas where affordable housing was scarce. These units, small but fully equipped, offered a safe and stable environment for individuals and families transitioning out of homelessness. The program was a resounding success in cities like Seattle, Chicago, and Los Angeles, reducing the number of unsheltered individuals by significant margins. Taylor's commitment to this cause inspired other celebrities and public figures to get involved. Actors, musicians, and athletes began using their platforms to amplify the foundation's message. Some donated generously, while others lent their time, visiting shelters and participating in community events. Taylor's genuine dedication had sparked a chain reaction of compassion and action. One such celebrity was actor and activist Dwayne Johnson, who reached out to Taylor with an idea for a collaborative campaign. "Taylor," he said during a phone call, "what if we create a national challenge? Something that encourages people to step up and do their part, no matter how small." Together, they launched the One Step Forward campaign, a social media-driven initiative encouraging people to take one step toward helping someone in need. Participants shared their stories using the hashtag #OneStepForward, whether it was buying a meal for a homeless person, volunteering at a shelter, or advocating for systemic change. The campaign went viral, with millions of posts flooding social media platforms showcasing acts of kindness from around the globe. Amid the growing movement, Taylor continued to remain hands-on, often surprising communities with unannounced visits. In one memorable instance, she traveled to a small town in Ohio where the local Swift Start chapter was celebrating its one-year anniversary. She spent the day with volunteers, listened to their stories, and even helped serve meals at a community center. For Taylor, these moments were grounding, a reminder of the real lives being impacted by her efforts. Meanwhile, Sam's life had taken yet another remarkable turn. His role as a counselor at the community center had blossomed into a full-fledged career in advocacy. With Taylor's encouragement, he pursued a degree in social work, balancing his studies with his job. By the time he graduated, he had become a leading voice in the fight against homelessness, speaking at national conferences and even testifying before Congress about the importance of comprehensive support systems. Sam's testimony was a pivotal moment. His eloquence and authenticity moved lawmakers, leading to the passage of a bipartisan bill that allocated increased funding for homelessness prevention programs and affordable housing initiatives. The legislation was a testament to the power of storytelling and the influence of individuals who dared to dream of a better world. Taylor and Sam remained close throughout these developments, their bond deepening with each shared success. Their friendship was a source of inspiration for both, a reminder that their work wasn't just about statistics or policies, but about people. Real, vulnerable, extraordinary people. In the years that followed, the Swift Start Foundation expanded its reach, launching chapters in countries like Canada, the United Kingdom, and Australia. Each chapter was tailored to address the unique challenges faced by homeless populations in those regions, from the frigid winters of Toronto to the housing crisis in London. The Foundation's international growth also sparked collaborations with local nonprofits and governments, creating a network of organizations united by a shared mission. One of the most transformative projects came when the Foundation partnered with a tech company to develop an app called Pathway. The app, designed to be accessible to anyone with a smartphone, provided real-time information about available shelters, food banks, job opportunities, and medical services. It also included a feature that allowed users to connect with caseworkers for personalized support. Pathway quickly became a lifeline for many, bridging the gap between resources and those who needed them most. Despite her packed schedule, Taylor made it a priority to stay connected with the people her foundation served. She often spent time at shelters, engaging in heartfelt conversations with residents and staff. These encounters fueled her creativity, inspiring new songs that reflected the struggles and triumphs of the human spirit. Her album, Reflections, released during this period, was a departure from her usual style, featuring stripped-down acoustic tracks that told stories of resilience, hope, and the enduring power of love. The album was met with critical acclaim and became a cultural touchstone, sparking conversations about social justice and empathy. One track, Invisible Angels, was inspired by the volunteers and advocates who worked tirelessly behind the scenes to make a difference. The song resonated deeply with listeners, many of whom shared their own stories of giving and receiving kindness. As the foundation celebrated its 5th anniversary, Taylor reflected on the journey that had brought her here. It all started with a single dollar, a moment of connection that had set off a cascade of change. What struck her most was the way this work had changed her, not just as a celebrity or philanthropist, but as a person. She had learned to see the world through new eyes, to appreciate the strength of the human spirit, and to believe in the possibility of a brighter future. To mark the milestone, the foundation hosted a global summit in New York City, bringing together advocates, policymakers, and community leaders to share insights and strategies. The event was a resounding success, culminating in a keynote address by Taylor herself. Tonight, I stand here not as a pop star or a public figure, but as someone who has been profoundly moved by the stories of courage and resilience I've encountered, she said, her voice steady but full of emotion. This isn't just about homelessness, it's about humanity. It's about recognizing our shared responsibility to lift each other up. As the audience erupted in applause, Taylor felt a profound sense of fulfillment. She knew the work was far from over, but she also knew that together they were creating something extraordinary, a movement rooted in compassion and the belief that no one is beyond hope. In the years that followed, the Swift Start Foundation continued to grow, touching millions of lives and inspiring countless others to join the fight against homelessness. And through it all, Taylor remained steadfast in her commitment, proving that even the smallest acts of kindness can lead to the most remarkable transformations. From that fateful day in Nashville to the global movement it sparked, Taylor and Sam's story became a symbol of what's possible when people choose to see each other, to listen, and to act. It was a testament to the power of connection, the resilience of the human spirit, and the enduring truth that even the simplest gestures can change the world. As the Swift Start Foundation moved into its next phase, Taylor Swift and her team began to delve deeper into the systemic issues that perpetuated homelessness. They recognized that while providing immediate assistance was essential, lasting change required addressing larger societal structures. To do this, they partnered with universities and research institutions to gather data and analyze trends in housing, employment, and healthcare accessibility. One groundbreaking study commissioned by the foundation revealed the alarming correlation between foster care and homelessness. Many young adults aging out of the foster care system faced significant barriers to independence, often leading to life on the streets. This discovery spurred the creation of a new initiative called Foundations for the Future, aimed at providing transitional housing, mentorship, and career guidance to foster youth. Taylor herself became a vocal advocate for the program, visiting schools and foster care facilities to encourage young people to pursue their dreams despite the challenges they faced. The foundation also explored the intersection of homelessness and domestic violence, another major contributor to housing insecurity. Working with shelters for survivors, they developed programs that offered holistic support, including trauma counseling, legal assistance, and childcare services. These efforts not only helped countless individuals escape abusive situations, but also empowered them to rebuild their lives with dignity and confidence. Meanwhile, Taylor's artistic journey continued to evolve alongside her philanthropic endeavors. Inspired by the people and stories she encountered, she began working on a documentary chronicling the foundation's impact. Titled Homeward Bound: Stories of Resilience, The film followed the lives of several individuals who had benefited from the Foundation's programs, showcasing their struggles, triumphs, and unwavering spirit. The documentary premiered at the Sundance Film Festival, earning critical acclaim for its heartfelt portrayal of humanity and the transformative power of kindness. Among the individuals featured in the film was Maria, a single mother who had escaped an abusive relationship and found refuge through the Foundation's programs. Her journey from despair to hope resonated deeply with audiences, becoming a rallying cry for change. Maria, who now worked as a case manager at a shelter, often spoke about how the Foundation had not only saved her life, but also inspired her to give back. As Taylor watched Maria's story unfold on screen during the premiere, she was struck by the profound interconnectedness of their lives. Each person she had met through this journey had left an indelible mark on her, shaping her understanding of resilience, empathy, and the importance of action. In the aftermath of the documentary's release, donations to the Foundation surged, enabling even greater expansion of its initiatives. New partnerships were formed, and innovative programs were developed, from affordable housing projects in rural areas to mobile healthcare units serving underserved communities. Taylor's vision of a world where everyone had a chance to thrive was becoming a reality, step by step. And yet Taylor remained humble, always reminding herself and others that the work was not about her. It was about the millions of people whose lives had been touched by the Foundation's efforts. For her, the true measure of success was not in accolades or recognition, but in the stories of hope and transformation that continued to unfold. Each success, no matter how small, was a reminder that change was possible, and that it often began with something as simple as a single dollar, a conversation, or an act of kindness. As the Swift Start Foundation matured into a global force for good, its leadership, inspired by Taylor's vision, recognized the need to empower communities to sustain change independently. They began to implement a model that emphasized grassroots involvement, ensuring that local leaders, volunteers, and organizations had the resources and autonomy to address the unique needs of their regions. One such initiative was the creation of Community Circles, a program designed to connect neighbors, volunteers, and businesses to collaboratively tackle homelessness at a hyper-local level. Each circle was equipped with tools, training, and funding to identify and address specific challenges, such as providing transportation for job interviews or coordinating temporary housing during extreme weather. Taylor frequently highlighted these circles in her public appearances, emphasizing that real change often began within one's own community. The Community Circles initiative led to some extraordinary success stories. In Portland, Oregon, a group of artists within one circle started a project called Murals for Hope, transforming abandoned walls and buildings into vibrant artwork that told the stories of those affected by homelessness. Each mural featured QR codes that linked to donation pages and resources, allowing passers-by to contribute directly or learn how to help. The project not only raised funds but also shifted public perceptions, reminding people of the humanity behind the issue. Taylor's role as a global ambassador for the cause expanded as well. Invited to speak at the United Nations, she delivered a powerful address on the importance of treating homelessness as a global issue rather than a localized problem. In her speech, she drew parallels between poverty, displacement, and access to education, highlighting the interconnectedness of social issues and the need for comprehensive solutions. "One thing I've learned," she said to the assembly, her voice steady and passionate, "is that homelessness isn't just about a lack of shelter. It's about a lack of opportunity, of safety, of community. And if we're going to solve this crisis, we need to look beyond Band-Aid solutions. We need to invest in people." Her words resonated deeply, inspiring several nations to collaborate with the Swift Start Foundation on pilot programs tailored to their unique challenges. In India, the foundation partnered with local NGOs to address urban poverty, focusing on access to clean water and safe housing. In Scandinavia, the emphasis was on integrating homeless populations into robust welfare systems. These partnerships marked a significant milestone, proving that the Foundation's model could adapt and thrive in diverse cultural contexts. Amid these developments, Taylor also turned her attention to education, launching the Future First Scholarship Program. Designed for individuals who had experienced homelessness, the program provided financial support for college, trade schools, and vocational training. Each scholarship recipient was paired with a mentor who offered guidance and encouragement throughout their academic journey. If you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel. Also, leave your comments below and tell us, what are your thoughts on a homeless man asking Taylor Swift for $1? We want to hear from you. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.